Welcome to the LDN Radio Show, brought to you by the LDN Research Trust. I'm your host, Linda Elsiegood. I have an exciting lineup of guest speakers who are LDN experts in their field. We will be discussing low-dose Naltrexone and its many uses in autoimmune diseases, cancers, etc. Thank you for joining us. This show is sponsored by our members who made donations. We'd like to give them a very big thank you. We have to cover the monthly costs of the radio station's software, bandwidth, phone lines and phone calls to be able to continue with the radio show. And thank you for listening. Today I'm joined by Pamela from the United States, who takes LDN for Hashimoto's. Thank you for joining us today, Pamela.
Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, could you tell us your journey to getting that ultimate diagnosis of Hashimoto's?
Absolutely. I had spent probably a good portion of the previous 20 years just not feeling well, various chronic infections, poor gut health, just being unusually tired. And so after lots of research, I ended up going to a naturopathic doctor here that I discovered and was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and began taking desiccated thyroid medication for that. Mm-hmm. And I seen some improvements, but I knew, it still just wasn't doing the trick to getting me to my optimal health. And through my research and my support groups that I was a member of on Facebook, I came into the information about LDN and started doing my own research and asked my doctor if that, what his views were on it. And he was very surprised that I had found it and said that he has used it in the past for many years with fantastic results and prescribed it to me. And that's been probably about 6 or 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had quite a journey, didn't you? Being ill for so long without a diagnosis.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, how did that make you feel?
Oh, it was extremely frustrating. I felt like every doctor that I had ever been to kind of dismissed me as a hypochondriac, or that I was making a bigger deal, or that I was exaggerating, or it was all in my head. And it was very depressing. It was, it was hard to fight up against that. And especially when you don't have unlimited resources to spend on all of these medical tests, and after going to various specialists and just racking up thousands of dollars in laboratory tests and still having no answers. It was just very frustrating and depressing, and which I think compounded the problem even more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. So what was your next step after you'd done your own investigation?
Well, I took the information that I found back to this natural doctor, and he ended up prescribing LDN to see if, in conjunction with the natural thyroid medicine, if I would have better results. And it was pretty amazing. It was, I would say within a week, my sleep improved dramatically, because I've had insomnia since I was probably about 25 years old, and I've taken Ambien for it, which I really wanted to get off of. So the dramatic difference in my sleep, in my joint pain, my gut health, things had returned almost to normal, with little bouts here and there, but dramatically different than it had been over the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And did you find that you could reduce the amount of natural thyroid you were taking?
You know what? Actually, yes. Just recently, due to insurance, I have a new doctor who strongly believes in LDN. She couldn't believe I had found a doctor and had been taking it already. And after my first blood test, this was just about a month and a half ago, she lowered, I went from 3 grains of thyroid, the nature thyroid a day, down to 1.5.
Oh, so it halved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm waiting to go back for return follow, after labs, after making that adjustment, and I may be able to lower it even more, which is awesome.
That is amazing. So how do you feel now? What's your quality of life like compared with before?
You know what? Actually, no comparison to the way that I felt 2 years ago before discovering that I had Hashimoto's. And still, even after taking the thyroid, way better with the LDN. Just huge improvements. I tell everybody I know, because there's so many people suffering with chronic autoimmune issues. And, I think people are in the same boat that I was in, just lost, not able to find the right doctors who take you seriously. Not knowing, the doctors just not knowing what tests to do or what to look for or about LDN at all.
Mm-hmm. And don't you think, even if you are a person who's never suffered with depression and you're a bright, bubbly person, when you have to live with a chronic condition and people don't believe you or understand or know how to treat it, that in itself is very depressing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's circumstance that causes you to be depressed.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I've always been a very positive person. My sister suffered from depression, so I know what that's like to have chronic depression, and that wasn't me. But after 20 years of having sinus infection and joint pain and stomach problems and, just not finding the right support that even really, where you feel like they don't even believe you, it's discouraging, and it compounds when you already aren't feeling good and you don't feel like you know where to go to find answers. When you know something is off in your body, but you don't know where to go with it.
So if you had to rate your quality of life on a score of 1 to 10 before you started the LDN, what would it have been?
I would say maybe about a 4.
Mm-hmm. And
I would say...
Yes. And what it is now?
Now I would say an 8 or a 9. Mm-hmm. I still have minor joint pain and a little bit of stomach issues, but I'm hoping that the longer that I'm on this, that it's just going to keep getting better and better, which I feel like it is. And I feel like my mental state has greatly improved now that I finally feel like I have doctors who are hearing me and know, not that you want to be diagnosed with anything, but that was a huge relief. Just like, okay, I know it wasn't in my head, and now at least my doctors know that.
So your sleep, you said that you have better quality of sleep. How many hours would you say you're sleeping a day?
The past few months, at least 8 hours a night, which has never, ever happened. Normally I would go to sleep and sleep for about 2 to 3 hours. Even taking the strongest dose of Ambien, I would still wake up and be up the majority of the rest of the night. So I really only could look forward to 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night.
And that doesn't make you feel too good the next day either, does it?
Oh, absolutely not. No, you'd feel like you've been out drinking for 2 days straight. You can't think straight and you have no energy. So that is probably my saving, that's my biggest satisfaction that I get out of LDN. And I absolutely know that that's what it is because I had ran out for about a month. And I, with getting it compounded, I waited and sure enough, everything crept back up, all my symptoms, my sleep. And so I will never run out of LDN in the future. That's for sure. That is my priority now.
Well, I continued improving for 18 months. So I think you hopefully will see even further benefits.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you know what? I really feel like that. I feel like this has just been a miracle. I'm like, how, I don't understand how it's not more known, even by medical professionals. So I spread the word everywhere I go.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, long may your success with LDN continue, and hopefully you'll still keep improving. And thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, Pamela.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it and appreciate being able to get the word out.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
This show is sponsored by our members who made donations. We'd like to give them a very big thank you. We have to cover the monthly costs of the radio station's software, bandwidth, phone lines and phone calls to be able to continue with the radio show. And thank you for listening. Any questions or comments you may have, please email me, Linda, Linda, at ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciated your company. Until next time, stay safe and keep well.